I'll hand it off to you here for a formational
Mhm.
life and self-authorship. Some beautiful work that you do.
Oh. Yeah, I'll start with self-authorship because that one's pretty straightforward. Um, the fundamental belief that you are the narrator of your thought life and of the actions that you take in your behavior in response to your thought life, that's self authorship. Picking up the pen, however you want to use the metaphor. Constructive developmental psychology is what we would call it technically. And that is that you are actively always constructing a story about what you are experiencing. So you're constructive in that regard. You're the narrator. You're creating a narrative about what you're experiencing, and then developmental is the ability to accumulate experiences, accumulate ways of thinking that they compound over time. So they don't leave an old self behind you, which is kind of a popular way of thinking of things like dust off your old self and move into a new self. Um, Constructive developmental psychology would say, actually, you're including everything you've been. You're including all the ways of thinking that you had in order to move into an expanded or more expansive way of looking at your life and your thoughts and the story that you're telling about the experiences that you're having. And the more awake you are to the fact that you are constructing, you are narrating, you are self authoring the way that you see the world, the way that you act in the world, the way that you grow or change or transition or expand in the world, the more responsibility for that you take, the more awake and aware you are to that, the more choice you have. And most of us are looking for more choice, more option about how we move, who we're with, how we behave, what we achieve, and our general contentment about who we are and how worthy we are to be in the places that we live, that we work, that we play. And so that self authorship belief is right at the center of that. And in order to live out that belief, it requires you to practice a life that is reforming all the time. So, a formational life is understanding that one way that you approach the world is it has been formed by what you've been through and how you've thought about it, how you've narrated it, how you've made sense of it in the past. And that if you'd like to expand and grow and offer yourself more options and more power and more self control, all the things that we really want as virtues, as people, as family members, as leaders, as athletes, we want more self control. And more self control and more choices about how we move and how we think require more self authorship, more formational work where we're forming and reforming to the point of transforming how we think about the experiences that we have and how we act in response to the way that we think about that, the story that we're telling ourselves about that. And the good news is that with me, it's always going to be an infinite game. There is no arrival.
No, and that's why I love athletics, especially at the high school level. Like once you
Yes.
make varsity, the work just begins. Once I get this college scholarship, the work just begins.
Yeah.
So it is that infinite game, and in all these lessons, all these seeds that we plant to bring it back to our fruits there,
Yeah.
they truly grow and are expressed in adulthood, both
Yes.
for better or for worse, right? Coaching scars or influence or shames that you then were told, the story that you were told about yourself as an athlete. I know countless of people that have held on to that tale
Hmm.
into their professional realm. And unfortunately, those shame, those self-limiting beliefs, they have to work very hard to break through those.
So,
So I love
absolutely.
this picture that you're painting with these keywords here.
Yeah, and I mean, the fruit that you bear, it does reflect the DNA, that you started with, for sure. And we also know, just to run your metaphor out, that all kinds of fertilizers, all kinds of composting, all kinds of treatment, context, conditions. I mean, they even say if you talk to your plants that they'll grow better, right? Like that's old science even. And so we know there are lots of stages along the way where you can influence more and better fruit. And I mean, even to the point where if things have really begun badly, you can graft on an entire new, side of life so that, what was there is still, useful to what you're becoming.